Get ready for the lady. That gift is something, and I know we talk about it a lot because so many of us have been positively affected by the community that we have with this team. But I think, and again, we talk about it often, but there is something so special and so unique about this team. And I think that the relationships are so important in what we're doing. John Maxwell, he talks about, if you haven't read this book yet, I highly recommend, but he talks so much about how network marketing is all about relationships. And so I just am really proud of the depth of relationships that we have across this country with people of, single, young, in their 20s, all the way to grandmothers. Like, I love that. That is something very special and unique that many people are longing for. So if you are not sharing about this community, if you're not sharing about the relationships that you have with people. I'm going to call out Tiffany Boovie. I don't know if she's on here, but she's done a really great couple of posts recently where she is sharing about people on our team. She's taking pictures that she's had with those of us, maybe from convention in June or from our fall retreat, and she's telling these stories of her friends, of us. And so if you haven't done that yet, I encourage you to do that, because I know that I was not the only mom who was feeling isolated, who didn't feel connected to other people, and was longing to have friends in my life. And so that is something that we also have to offer. So make sure that you are sharing that. All right, so you guys, 2022 is upon us. We have so many fun and exciting things to look forward to. But before we do that, I want us to be reflective over 2021. I've seen some people share, not necessarily on our team, but just in general on social media. I've seen some people share about how 2021 was the best year of their life. I've seen some people share about how 2021 was the hardest year of their life. But I want us to talk through business specific things that we saw in our own particular businesses, wins that you saw in your business. It doesn't matter if it was growth or if you found a rock star business builder. It can be as simple as, I showed up to Power Hours 5 days a week. That is a huge win. So I want you guys to not be intimidated by the number of people here. We only have 35 people on this call, and we all are friends. We all love each other, and we all support one another. So please be brave and unmute yourself and share some of your wins, maybe some of the areas that you're proud of that you grew in, maybe some of the areas or team members that you're proud of that you've seen grow, or some areas where you can start really honing in your focus so you can start strengthening. So go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
I've got one. And it's totally community related. And these are two girls that both for the longest time were like, no, not interested. And now they're both on my team. They're both interested. They're both sharing. And they live on two separate ends of the country. They don't know each other because I know them from different things. Yet they now have come together to support each other because both of their dads are kind of at the end stages of Parkinson's. And so neither of them had anybody else in their life that was in that same situation. So seeing them come together now as friends has been a really cool thing.
I will say a win for me and for my business, I believe, has been a few things. Starting up the level 1 thread that I started. It's not booming all the time, but I feel like that's really created a really sweet place for me and my level 1s who are working the business. I feel like we're a little bit more connected in that thread, and I've really enjoyed that connection with my level 1s. So I feel like that's been really sweet. It's been really cool. I feel like the business in general has just been really awesome. I mean, I see a lot of diamond teams that might hit diamond and then never re-hit their points again. But our team has continually hit diamond points. We've continually grown. In December, we had the highest points that we've ever had. We had almost 6,800 points. And that's in December, like during the holidays, during a pandemic. So that was really cool to see. It also has been really neat to see people who maybe stepped away from the business coming back with a vengeance, in a positive way, or seeing people who have had babies and being able to still prioritize having a child and having a booming business. That's been really, really neat to see as well. I'm going to start calling people out because this is ridiculous that nobody is talking right now.
Fine, I'll go. You guys know I always have something to say. So I last year ranked real quickly. Well, 2 years ago, ranked real quickly and then just stopped and plateaued. And so this past year has been a lot of learning and like diving in. Like, I don't know if anybody can relate with Christina Williams, who just recruited all the way up to like whatever she did. And then she just plateaued. Well, that I feel like that's how I have been. And so I think it's been a major win learning to just dive into developing myself and then not being scared to share what I'm doing with my team. I have been petrified that I'm going to lead them in the wrong way because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but that's not true. And that's just something that's a lie that I'm telling myself. And so I think coming to those realizations and learning that it's always progress. It's never perfection. There's never perfection, period. And so it's always progress. I think that's been a massive mind shift for me. And then also recognizing my own skepticism still in the products. If we're being completely honest, a year and a half in, recognizing that skepticism and owning it and figuring it out and blasting it apart. And we're still in process of, but I didn't recognize that until this year. And so that's been really helpful, I think, moving forward.
Can you hear me? So the big thing for me this year was the week of Thanksgiving. Brittany did a challenge and I sent 25 new reach outs in 3 days. That was more messages than I had ever sent in a week or probably even a month. And that was a big challenge, and it was fun, and it's really kind of fired me to, started me or put a fire in me to have fun. And I've really been enjoying working my business since then.
And I mean, it just like thrills my heart to see mom and daughter combo doing this together, having fun together, and mom's like listening to daughter and saying, yes, I'll do what you're telling me to do. Yes, I'll do that. And then look at the fruit that's come from that, because you just ranked senior silver in December. Like, that is fun. That is so, so exciting. Thank you for sharing, Gina. Who else?
I had a big win, just better developing my sign-on info that I give to people. So trying to perfect the info I tell them so that we don't have them canceling subscription and losing perks, and following up with good customer care and figuring out what my personal system is. And it still changes weekly.
I've been in Plexus for almost a year now, and it's actually a year this month. And I've been really excited to see my personal mindset shift a lot. I've done a lot of growing just as a person too, learning not to attach myself to the results or what people's responses are, and just like being okay with me to a point. I know that probably sounds weird, but like in growing that confidence, I've always been a leader in some way in every organization and thing I've been in, but I've never been confident in my leadership necessarily. And so this has really helped me, especially in the last month or two, like really kind of go, okay, no, like I can do this. And I had it's not been easy, and I've gone back, like I've struggled different months, but then like this last month I was super pumped about how it turned out being December, and like like it was re-solidifying that like, no, I can do this. And so it's been really cool this last month to just I don't know, feel like it was solidified in my mind that this is something that I can do. And it's not going to always be easy, and it's not always going to be fast track, but you do the things and you stay consistent doing the things. And I feel like that's been really just great to see in my business this year.
That mindset is absolutely vital, because that mindset is a marathon mindset. That mindset is healthy. That mindset is realistic. That mindset is like truth, because this is not an overnight success for anybody. Everybody struggles. Everybody has ebbs and flows in their business. And realizing that early on gives you emotional maturity and stability in your business. Very, very important. Thank you, Sarah Jo, for sharing. What else? I've seen quite a few of you guys have rank ups. I've seen a few of you have people on your team show up for power hours. I see you guys doing training. I don't know if Lisa Schupler is on here, but over Christmas break, while she was in Texas, she signed up for the Kristen Boss 3-day business training, and she said that was really amazing. What are some other things that have been good for you for your business? Maybe some of the training, some of the podcasts that have really helped shape you?
Reflecting on 2022, for me, that was the year that our team went Sapphire. So that was huge and exciting, and being able to maintain that and really watch a lot of my teammates step up in new and big ways and wrestle with things that maybe are standing in their way, or overcome some things, show up with just their consistency and their mindset. We had tons of girls that are headed to Leaders Retreat, which I think is a huge, exciting thing to see. We have lots of new girls, newer, I should say, who are even on this call that are really catching what Plexus offers for their life, and just more than just product and paychecks, but really like the connection piece, the growth piece, the community, the team, like all of that, which is just so exciting. And I think for me personally too, there has been a next level of like my consistency with the way that I've shown up for my own business day in and day out. So that was kind of my recap.
Well, and Hannah, with you specifically, I've seen a huge shift in the way that you are sharing your story and the way that you are inviting people in. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but if you haven't, go and continually check out Hannah's stories that she's doing, her posts that she's doing, but she's very bold in the business. She's very bold in inviting people to come and do this business. And you will see that she's starting to see a lot of new level ones showing up and doing the business. And I think that there's like that beautiful correlation of what she's sharing, that belief that she's pouring into the people who are watching her stories. Just like Caitlin said here in the chat, people are watching and then seeing people come and want to do the business. Who else?
I'm really liking, well, one, the John Maxwell book, but I feel like I could highlight every single word in that book. But I love that. And then I always really like podcasts like Bob Heilig, and then Kristen Boss has been a really nice extra for me to, just have a different perspective there. But I've really appreciated and valued kind of the mindset shift of like, of knowing like if this is something that you want to prioritize, like really making it apparent to actually do that, because even bringing in a baby and readjusting to like an extra person in the family and schedules and those kinds of things, like we're never going to get less busy, if that makes sense. There's not any extra time anywhere. And so for the pure fact that I know that women with 7 and 11 kids and 4 that are in wheelchairs and all the other things, like I have no excuse other than the fact that they literally made it a priority and I wasn't. And so I didn't want that to be my story. I wanted it to be like, okay, well, these are the reasons why I'm doing this, and I do love it. And when I do prioritize it, I actually am way more fulfilled anyways. And so, like, I was trying to figure out for the longest time the scheduling of when to do it. And I was just like, it came to the point of whatever my last feed or my first feed was in the morning, I just would stay up after that and start getting to work, because that was the only time that I wouldn't maybe have 2 kids on me. And so I made it a parent to do that, and then finished the stuff throughout the day. But if I didn't get it done, but it was just actually like wanting to show up and wanting to be consistent, and really expecting that out of the people I was chatting with too, of being like, this is not all, like, nothing of this is about me, it's about you. And if you're not going to be consistent, then it's not your time. But I'm more than happy to help you, but you actually have to want it too. And so, like, knowing that there's freedom in that as well was really nice, to be able to be more bold, even on subs and those kinds of things. Like, if people are pushing their subs out, of being like, hey, you haven't been consistent with your goals, and that's not going to achieve it. Like, what do we need to revisit? And just being very clear about the expectation there for them, of it's a waste of their time and money. So that was just really nice, of like kind of thinking forward to that.
Yeah, Kylie was one of the ones I was mentioning about having a baby, but still prioritizing her business. And you can prioritize your business without hurting your family or hurting other things of importance. It's just a matter of being aware of boundaries and being aware of how much time you're spending on things that don't matter. So let's transition a little bit, and I'm going to be taking notes of this, because this is going to be very helpful for us as I'm really excited about it. Actually, we're going to be changing up a little bit of the way that we're doing Rising Jewels. You guys may not notice much of a difference, but I'm really excited to kind of share the load with our jewels. And so each month, a different jewel is going to take that entire month, and they're going to be the one doing the calendar. They're going to be the one coordinating content, coordinating events, coordinating speakers, all the things. And so I'm really excited about that, because I think that's going to help raise all of our leadership lids. I invite you also, as you are learning, maybe you've listened to a really great podcast that really helped you, or maybe you sent out a message that had a really great response, or whatever, or you see a really great training in Diamonds in the Making. I encourage you to share that in Rising Jewels too, because I want your team to see you guys raise up in your leadership too. This is not Emily Burgess's team page. This is our team page. So please utilize that as your own. But I want us to be able now to transition a little bit to the areas that we really individually want to focus on growing this year. That does not mean, okay, Emily is going to be the one giving you all this information. This means Liz, let's say Liz is going to be focusing on customer care. So her focus is going to be, she herself is learning more about customer care. What are some areas of focus that you really want to look into and lean into for 2022? And I'm going to be making notes of this so we can help you guys with that too.
It just took me a long time to try to figure out how to unmute myself. I want to focus on expanding my network. Literally, like, that is what I looked up a couple of posts today in Rising Jewels, and have done what people have said of, like, go to friends of friends, and like, I just want to expand my network. And so that is being more active on some Facebook groups that I am on. Yeah, that is my goal.
I want to try to work on my brand and add value. And I feel like I have a lot of good ideas sometimes, but I just don't see them through. So the other day I wanted to share some of my thoughts with physical therapy. So I hopped on live and I did it. And that was really scary, but I feel like I got a lot of good response. And so it's not just Plexus, but it's adding value to life in general. And that will generate more follows, I guess, and more network because people are sharing it. And that will just lead to more, I guess.
Anyone else? We have a lot of really good ones, and a lot of them are the same. Seeing a lot of duplication, mindset, casting vision. So I encourage all of us to dive into that. Don't wait for somebody to post something on Rising Jewels or Diamonds in the Making. Go and be proactive, be persistent in your pursuit of these things that you want to grow in. Anybody else have any other areas that they really want to focus on? Retention, that's a good one, Carolyn.
I want to focus on staying in the same planner and like following through with my follow-up and my funnel of like how to go about bringing them through the calendar, because I feel like there's always a million ways to do it, and that's totally okay, but I've got to like literally just sit down and do one. And so I already have my setup printed off and ready to go for this year.
I would like to really focus on helping create a community in my own personal team, and having fun. Like, this isn't meant to be miserable. Like, we love people. We like people. Like, this should be enjoyable. I mean, yeah, there are hard times, but it shouldn't suck every single piece of us. Like, I don't know. So I want to do that.
That like makes me giddy because that's like what can happen. And it should be like, we should be having fun because this is such a fun thing that we get to do. Get to help people, get to show up and be on calls like this with women who genuinely love one another, with women who will, in a heartbeat, give money to one of our friends who's hurting, one of their kids who's hurting. Like, we'll pray for one another. Like, we'll get to go to Florida together or go to Hawaii together or go to convention together. It ought to be fun. I love that. Anybody else? Okay, so we're gonna now, last transition is we are going to talk through goals. And I've got a few things that I want to share with you. So grab a pen and a paper if you don't have it already, or your phone note section, whatever you're going to use for some taking notes. So going back to this book here by John Maxwell, The Power of Five for Network Marketing, he is talking in here about business growth. And he's talking about how if we, he says, you must know where you are before you can chart the course for where you want to go. So that's kind of what we did. We were reflective. We're kind of figuring out where we are, what our business looks like currently, the wins, the things that we're grateful for, the things that we want to be working on. We must know those things to know the course of where we want to go. He says, reality is the difference between what we wish for, what we have, and the changes we need to make to reach our desired destination. So again, he's going through bullet points of where are you, where do you want to be, what changes do you want to make, everything we just addressed. He says that then once you figure out those little bullet points, then you kind of have a reality of what you're facing. And he talks about the benefits to realistic thinking. And again, this is specific for network marketing. He says there are 3 benefits to realistic thinking. Realistic thinking is a catalyst for change. He says people who rely on hope for their success rarely make change a high priority. If you have only hope, you imply that achievement and success are out of your hands, which is not the case. We don't just sit around and hope for something to happen. We have to be intentional and get into action. He says realistic thinking, on the other hand, combined with intentional action, is what brings about change, results, and ultimately success. I'm going to repeat that line because that is a very powerful line. Realistic thinking, on the other hand, combined with intentional action, is what brings about change, results, and ultimately success. He says for the second benefit, realistic thinking gives you credibility. In that he's saying, if you say I'm going to, wait, hang on. He says, what I say I'm going to do is inspiring in the beginning, but it must soon be backed up with results. When you're backing it up with results, that proves that you're credible. The third benefit of realistic thinking is that it brings your dream into reality. He says, if you don't recognize the challenges of reaching your dream and don't face them, you will never achieve your heart's desire. And I love this, and I actually have this scheduled to post tomorrow evening. He says, many people forget that when you start a business, there is one essential requirement: work. And I think that when people come into network marketing, they see, oh, this little stay-at-home mom is making little cutesy posts on Facebook and she's making $25,000 a month. Oh, I can do it. And then they go in and they realize it's actual work. It's actual like hard personal growth, learning to like not find your worth in other people, growing constantly, having to work really hard, and it's too much and they give up. This job is a job and it requires work, but like Abby said, it is fun. And like Kylie said, there is such fulfillment that comes in this. And like Elaine said, look at that God-ordained relationship where you are finding people and you're able to connect them. And it is something so vital and something that so many of us need. He says in here, and I put this in our calendar at the very beginning, and I think I probably put this quote in many places because I kind of feel like this is maybe the heart for me this year as a reminder to our team of, like all things worthwhile, success takes time, energy, and compounded efforts. You will be required to put in sweat equity. You will go through multiple cycles of success and failure. At times you will win, and at other times you will learn. I really like how he says you're going to have success and failure, but sometimes you're going to win and sometimes you're going to learn. He doesn't say sometimes you're going to fail. He says sometimes you are going to learn. And so that's up to us to take what is not working and learn from it, grow from it, which is exactly why I just said, tell me the areas that you want to focus on so that way you can go and you can learn. Taryn, it is The Power of Five for Network Marketing by John Maxwell. Really, really good. We're actually talking through, as a Jewel team right now, we're talking through different book studies, and this is one of the books that we are talking about redoing as a book study. I'm not going to go through this because I want us to do one last little deal here, but if you do ever get this book, or if you do have this book, go to page 81 because he talks through, he gives you like a list of, this is how fantasizers respond or think, and this is how dream builders respond and think. Actually, I am going to go through this because this was on my plan, but then I started to get nervous that maybe I was talking too much, but I think that this is very important, so I'm going to go with it. So he tells, and I want you guys to think about this, like, where do you fall? So category 1 is the fantasizers, and category 2 is the dream builder. Genuinely question this and see where you fall on this scale. Fantasizers rely on luck. Dream builders rely on discipline. Fantasizers focus on the destination. I want to be diamond. I'm going to be diamond. But dream builders focus on the journey. So huge. Fantasizers cultivate unhealthy expectation. Dream builders cultivate healthy discontent. Fantasizers minimize the value of work, whereas dream builders maximize the work that they do. Fantasizers look for excuses. How many times do we hear people saying, oh, I just don't have enough time. Oh, I just don't think that I could do this. I don't think I could do what you could do. I'm not outgoing. I'm really introverted, or I don't have a very big network. I don't have much money. How many excuses do we hear all the time? Oh, I can't do this because of tax purposes. How many excuses do we hear? Versus the dream builder, They are led to action. Fantasizers breed isolation. Dream builders promote teamwork, which is what I am extremely proud of with our team here. So incredibly proud of our team for this teamwork we have here. Fantasizers wait. Dream builders initiate. Fantasizers avoid personal risks. Dream builders embrace risk as necessary. And then fantasizers make others responsible, whereas a dream builder makes themselves responsible. So those are really good to just kind of reflect on with where we are. And some days you might be a fantasizer and some days you might be a dream builder. When you're in that fantasizer position, stop yourself and get out. So the last thing that we're gonna do is I'm going to play, it's a 10-minute video, but I'm actually going to only do 5 minutes of it because I think the first 5 minutes are really, really important as we are going into a new year. This is Christy White. She works with Dave Ramsey. She's so cute. She actually was one of our speakers at a Plexus convention, and she wore like really tight white jeans and didn't have any cellulite, and I hated her, but I loved her because she was so cute. But she talks through, and this is where I want you guys to have your pen and your paper. She talks through, it's called the 5 steps for goal setting, but we're just going to go through the first 3. And what I'm going to challenge you guys to do is take notes on this. And then I want you guys to, and all of your jewels have shared their goals with one another. I want you guys to spend the next 24 hours writing out your goals after you hear this little video, and I will send the link into this thread here too, so you guys can finish the 10 minutes if you want. We're just going to focus on the first 5 minutes, but I want you to genuinely like sit down, maybe with your spouse, with your significant other, your best friend, by yourself, and I want you to write out your goals for 2022, and I want you to share them with your nearest jewel upline, because that's going to create teamwork, and that's going to get rid of that isolation. That's going to also create some accountability of you sharing what your goals are. Now, this is also like kind of specific to business, but I want to hear life goals too, for sure. So if you will bear with me a moment, I am going to share the screen. But hold on. How do I do this? Why am I struggling? Oh, here I am. Oh gosh, it's been a minute. Okay, Lauren Hampton, I see you. Can you give me a thumbs up once I start it if you can hear it? Okay, perfect.
All right, you're ready to set goals. I can see it. I can feel it. You are 22, but you're thinking, yeah, what's a goal? Like, how do you write a goal? And you know what? I'm so glad you asked, because there are certain variables that make a goal what a goal is from a dream or a wish or just a nice idea that you hope happens and then never happens because you know what? It didn't become a goal. Let me give you some examples. Someone might say, I want to lose weight. Business, cool, not a goal. Someone might think, oh, I want to advance in my career. That sounds lovely. None of those specifically give you the variables that make a goal a goal. By definition, if it doesn't have these things, it's not a goal. So you want to take your ideas, take your dreams, your wishes, your prayers, put these different elements into it in order to make it a goal. Let's walk through what these are. Number 1, it needs to be specific. So I want to grow my business. A great question to ask yourself is how? How do you want to grow your business? By Facebook followers, by top line revenue, by your personal income, by the amount of clients that you serve, by the amount of team members that you have, by the amount of locations that you have? There's 6 ways to grow right there. And there's a ton more. So you need to be specific in how you want to grow your business. If it's another area, like let's say you want to advance in your career. I want to advance my career. Okay, how? In what specific department or what specific path or what specific level or title or area of responsibility? When you ask yourself how, it helps you think about this dream or this idea with more clarity, put some specificity to it, and then you know exactly what you're working toward. So the first variable this idea needs to have to be a goal is it needs to be specific. The second is it needs to be measurable. You need to have some way to measure whether or not you reach the goal or not and how you're tracking along the way. So if I just said, I want to run, well, that's nice, but that is not specific and it's definitely not measurable. How much do I want to run? Well, a full marathon is 26.2 miles. That is measurable. You want to grow your business. Okay, let's say that you want to grow your business by top line revenue. Okay, now you've added a specific variable to it. The next question to ask yourself to make it measurable is by how much? By how much? How much do you want to grow it in top line revenue? Or how much do you want to grow your Facebook followers? Or how much do you want to grow your email list? Maybe if you're thinking about growing in your career, you not only pick the industry or the division you want to be in, but what specific title, what specific level, what specific size team. You put some measurable metrics around this so that you can know if you're hitting it or not, and you can track your progress along the way. I want to lose weight. Okay, how much? How much weight do you want to lose? I want to grow my muscle. Okay, by how much? How are you going to measure whether or not you've increased your muscle or not? And so when you not only make it specific, but make it measurable, now you know what you're working on and you know whether or not you're on track to get there. So goals need to be specific and measurable. Add these elements to your idea to make sure you know what you're supposed to do to make them happen. But the third thing is really important, and I don't want to miss this, a time limit. They need to have a time limit. When do you want this to happen by? By December of 2022? By June of next year? Maybe just the first quarter? What are the elements of this goal that play into the vision for next year? Some of them might be time sensitive, so they naturally have a built-in deadline. Like you might think, I want to run the St. Jude marathon. Well, that is December something of 2022. So it naturally has a built-in deadline because there's a date for that. But if you want to lose weight, how much by when? If you want to grow in your career or grow your business, how much by when? So when you make it specific and make it measurable and give it a time limit, now you have a goal. You know what you're working on, you know whether or not you're on track, and you know when you want to hit it by. And of course, if things change next year, and they will, you can reassess your goal. You can change your metrics, you can change the goal, you can change the timeline, you can move it up, move it back. You can move things around. This is your life. I just want to help you think through what your goals are so that you have a starting point to begin to work on them. So you're moving in the direction of your vision. So your goals need to be specific, measurable, and have a time limit. But let me give you a couple more things that are just.
Okay, love, 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 specific one. That is my favorite. So I'm going to send you guys right now the link to this video. So if you guys do want to watch the last 10 minutes, you can do that. You can send it to people on your team who are not here. Or if you just want to rewatch that. So there that is. Christy Wright is the speaker. Go ahead and in the next 24 hours, write out your specific, measurable, and your time goal of when those are to happen to your upline. Would love to see that, so that way your Jewel upline, so that we and include your upline in that too, if you feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable sending it to your Jewel upline, that's okay. Send it to your upline, just for that accountability, so that way we can all know how to serve one another better. Now, last thing is I put the calendar for January in Rise and Jewels this morning. I just want to bring to attention a few things. So this week, Kara is doing the IPA challenge for that 21-day hard. We have until January 6th for people to order. So know that people can order a welcome pack, or they can order, they say 4 products. I think it's fine to just have 3. This is recorded. Let's hope nobody who's admin is watching. I think it's fine to have 3. But make sure that they're in there and have their products ordered by the 6th. The actual challenge starts on the 10th. If you guys have any questions, let me know. So that is going on this week, the IP challenge. On Thursday this week is our Golden Above call. If you hit 100 pay points in December, then you are invited to be on this exclusive call with some jewels. We're doing a fun little gift card giveaway. They're always really beneficial, I feel. Then on the 9th, Sunday the 9th, Liz and Lacey are hosting a business event that they've invited us all to be a part of, that we can invite our potentials to, and we can invite our customers to help build some belief. If I'm understanding correctly, it's going to just be a lot of like really great business testimonials just to really build that belief and get people excited about what this opportunity could be for them. So that's on Sunday evening. You guys be checking Facebook, Rising Jewels, they've been putting in there, and I think Cheshire Gut possibly, or they will. And then on Wednesday, the 12th, we are going to do a Zoom call. These always kind of make me like sweat and make me a little bit uncomfortable because I'm just always afraid I'm wasting people's time, but I feel like we need it. We're going to do a how to get started with your business Zoom call, and it can be kind of like a Q&A. If you guys have new people who are interested in the business, that are current customers. We want to make sure that they are currently customers, not just for potential. So that's going to be on Wednesday night, the 12th. And then we do have Super Saturday on the 15th. I know not everybody is going to the live event in Arizona. Anybody other than Hannah and myself going to the live event in Arizona? Okay, so that just means that you guys can collaborate and open your home and invite your local people. If you have local people, invite them to your house. Do a layout of food, turn on the training, invite people over. Do this together as a team. And look at all the comments. You've got people here saying that you're invited to come to their house if you are nearby. If you live in Arkansas, make the drive to Kara's house. Melanie, I'm looking at you. Rachel, Sarah, I'm looking at you guys. All right, and then we are doing a stories event on the 27th, and then this is the last thing I'm going to end with because I think it's really exciting, and I haven't actually made a post about it. It is in the calendar, but for our team exclusive, I have teamed up with Jen Lee and Tamara Holloway, and they are going to be doing a Rising Jewels earned exclusive call on Sunday, January 30th. For our team only. You need to add 3 VIPs with welcome packs to earn a spot in that Q&A call with Diamonds, Tamara, and Jen Lee. Just our team. So it's going to be a small, really great group. So I encourage you to add your 3 before the 30th, so that way you can be a part of this call. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to say before we wrap up this call? Oh, an accountability group. I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention that. Accountability group is starting next week, Monday the 10th, and we've actually changed the time to 7 o'clock Mountain Standard, which would be 8 o'clock Central. We're going to change it up a little bit. I'm still waiting for a little confirmation before I give you all the details, but we are going to start it at 7 o'clock Mountain Standard. We're going to go for 3 months accountability group where we're doing 5 days of intentional IPAs, income producing activity. We're coming back every Monday night to gather with one another, do a little bit of training, talk through things that worked, things that maybe a message that you sent or a post that worked or a story that worked, walk through some problems, come up with some solutions, and we're going to do that in a breakout session with the different Jewel teams. And like I mentioned when I was talking to Taryn about this book, we are going to be doing some specific book studies. And again, I can't tell all the details because I'm waiting for confirmation on something, but be looking for details on this book study. I think it's going to be really, really sweet. It's going to empower every single one of our leaders on our teams. All right, you guys, I love you so very much. Anybody have any questions before we jump off? All right. Happy New Year, you guys. We will see you very soon. Thanks for being on. Bye.